Episode of Mr. Allard's Neighborhood. This is the place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
How are y'all doing today? The last show before Thanksgiving, which to me is a very important holiday, but today we celebrate Christmas, and I walk in today into the studio and look who I see.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, there you go. Santa Claus. Yeah. Taylor walks in. He's shocked, He looks, oh, my God, Santa Claus is in my studio. So,
I know.
I tell you,
We're
Taylor,
so honored.
I'm a big shot. What can I say?
Wow.
I call the people at Hallmark, say, send me the real Santa, because... all those Hallmark movies always have the real Santa.
There's some little boys I have to come see in person. Have conversations with.
Of course. You know the naughty and nice list.
Yes, I do.
But it's an honor to have you here, Santa. And I know that you're very busy, so we're going to let you drop in just for a few minutes, and then your friend will take over after that.
All right.
But as far as Santa's day, I mean, how do you keep in shape from all that moving around?
Lifting cookies. Yes. It takes a lot of effort to be lifting all those cookies.
Yes, I know, but, and the physics of up and down, moving all the, that's a full day.
People don't realize how much time you spend chasing reindeer and elves.
I know. Someone just not cooperative, are they?
No, they're not. They really aren't. Yeah.
Are the elves unionized? I just was wondering.
They're not unionized. They talk about it from time to time.
And you remind them, you put them on the naughty list.
Right, exactly. That's all it takes. Unionize all you want to. I'll put you on the naughty list, and we'll talk about benefits later.
Now, just how long have you been doing this, Santa? I mean, it's been a long time.
1,752 years.
1,752 years.
Yes.
Well, you don't look a day over 1,700. I got to admit.
Thank you very much.
You're looking good. Keeping in shape. Mrs. Claus, I suppose.
She cooks very well for me.
You're not like a vegan or anything like that.
No.
Okay, good for you.
When the reindeer get old, we eat them.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to share this with all the various people around.
All right.
With the various platforms that we have here. Come on. Sometimes Facebook gives me a little trouble. It's
they're on the naughty list from time to time. Yes,
definitely. Mark Zuckerberg's a Grinch. But anyway, I got to turn off the sound. I've been doing this. What number show is this, Taylor?
527.
And I think on 515 of those shows, I forgot to turn the sound down before I did anything.
There you go.
I just am not particularly adept with all this stuff, this technology. I guess, and Santa, you have to adapt to the technology.
You have to adapt to it.
So one of the things I'm going to ask you is what's changed over the years and what your requests are and things of that nature, and how you try to do the best you can. But I'm sharing it with Oak Valley here, Burleson Community. Come on. There's another one. Our friend Sarah Carlson. She says, hey.
Ho, 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 Sarah.
You know her boys, right?
I know her boys.
They're very good boys, too.
I've done videos for her boys.
Have you really?
Yes.
Well, that's good. There's another one there. One more.
During COVID, when people weren't getting out a whole lot, I pulled up in front of her house and did a video.
Yes, and it's very nice of you to do that because that COVID thing really was a beating. I guess you had to deal with that as well.
I had to deal with that as well, and I've got a mask that looks like I'm wearing that looks like my beard.
Well, I want to talk about a few of the sponsors, and they all said hey, too. And they said they want to make sure that you're on, and you may know these sponsors, certainly.
Yes.
CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Do you know Lexi and Bailey by any chance?
I do not yet.
Okay, they took this place over in the summertime, and they've been on the show, and they have done a few things. They're added classes and times, and it's a supervised workout. I guess, I don't know, you probably look pretty fit. You probably have your own workout regimen. They have a pretty intense one there.
Once you chase a reindeer for 3 miles, you have to do that a few times a day in the snow. Yeah.
Well, thank you, CrossFit Burleson. Hope you all are doing well. Coach Shandy Stogsdill over at the Realty Group, Stogsdill Group. You probably noticed this. You probably make more stops in Burleson than you used to.
Shandy and I was Santa at her house last year.
Oh, yeah.
And she just sold one of my friends a house. That's 2 blocks from my house.
Is that right? Well,
yes.
See, she also dealt with my daughter's house, and it was helpful to have somebody who knew what they're doing because all this paperwork, you got things to do. You don't have time to worry about all this. So
her patience is second to none.
Well, yeah. Particularly with that number 3, as she calls her. Apparently she's a live wire. So, Shandy, hope you're doing well. Also, our good friend Otto. Are you going to be dropping by our place?
I'm going to be dropping by our place. What day is that? Our place on Saturday the 16th. from 10 to 2. Come and get free pictures.
Free
with Santa
pictures.
Claus.
That's nice.
And one of my special elves is usually there too.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
We take the pictures outside on that old truck. Yeah.
Well, I just love that place. I really do, because Otto is a good community citizen, and I was there Friday having lunch with a friend, come by and drop by, and he wanted to make sure to say hey, make sure to how excited he was that he get a personalized visit from the Santa himself.
Absolutely. I just had chicken fried steak omelet.
Omelet?
Yes, they had chicken fried steak in the omelet.
Really? I got to
Oh,
try
it's
that.
amazing with gravy over it.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
See, that's another thing I need to ask you. All those cookies, how do you not get diabetes? I mean, I work. I guess you're just fortunate that way.
Again,
huh?
you chase the elves and the reindeer around.
Okay. Also, thank you, Otto, for everything. Also, Wild Cigar and Culture. Here's another young man you could visit, and it's over in the Standard. I don't know if Santa smokes, but I bet some of the elves do, and they have really good, and really nice cigars. I mean, this is some high-end stuff, and you go over there, and it's not too expensive. I don't want to imply that, but this isn't something you get at the gas station. I mean, these are really good cigars.
I honestly love the smell of a good cigar.
Yeah, and it's a good place to go. You go over there, too. People think it's cigar bar would be kind of smoky. It's not. I mean, you got the aroma, but you don't have all the clouds of smoke. They have a really good ventilation system, and they got a good bar, a very good bar, and which maybe Santa every now and then needs to stop by a good bar. But
from time to time, but Santa will never show up with liquor on his breath.
I know, but still, it's a great place to go for hanging out. Also, all the football games coming on this weekend, be a good place to watch those. And it's not a sports bar, but the games will be on, and you'll still be able to hear yourself think. That's what I like about that bar. Also, our good friend Tiffany Nico, you know her well, I'm sure. Local Life magazine goes to 30,000 homes in this area, plus I see them all over Burleson and businesses.
I have been on the cover several times over the last few years.
Have you really?
I have.
Yeah. Well, that didn't surprise me. And she knows everybody, and I really respect what she does with that magazine, because she not only just ads, but she has really good localized stories. I was on it about 2 years ago, and they did a great job, and I really enjoyed it. Also, this young man you may need to meet, Cody O'Brien, is that young man that does the Burleson Buzz. He kind of keeps us up to date on city council business, school business.
I subscribe.
So do I. And if you listen to this show and tell them you listen to this show, you'll get a 20% discount.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. And it's cheap, too. I mean, well, it's inexpensive. That's the better word. And it really does help because, without the Burleson Star around, we need localized news. So there you go. But anyway, so tell us about what you got planned coming up.
I have got several public parties that I'll be at. This Saturday, I'll be at Moretti's from 12 to 3. People can come in and get free pictures with Santa. There's no cost to that at all. That's something that Lisa Schwartz has set up.
That's a great store, by the way.
It really is.
I went there about 2 weeks ago, and they got, for you and your friend who likes to cook, it's got a lot of oils and spices and rubs, and and also they have some chocolates there as well.
Oh, the chocolates!
Yeah,
the chocolates, those truffles.
Yeah, it's the truffles. Yes.
Yeah, those. Yeah,
yeah,
they're amazing. But have you ever taken any of the vinegar and put it into sparkling water?
I can't say that I have.
It is amazing.
Well, I'll have to try it sometime.
It is absolutely amazing.
I never thought of putting those together.
Yeah, and it's not. The sugar buzz and everything that you would get off of any kind of, I say pop.
Yeah. Oh, because you're all over the world.
Yeah, all over the world.
You say Coke, not everybody knows what you're talking about.
Coke and soda. Yeah, it's pop.
Pop, okay.
It's a nice pop substitute. And with all the flavors of the vinegars that you can get there, you can have all that many flavors of drinks.
And I met the young woman that runs it now. Jennifer's her name, and she's got a good story to tell.
Oh, okay.
She and Lisa were on the show 2 weeks ago. We're at the end of the month of October, and Jennifer is a testimony to what Lisa's doing with Crazy 8.
Jennifer Pounds.
No, Jennifer Pounds is with the Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Jennifer,
getting my names.
Yes. No, this young woman, Jennifer, is from south of here, and she came to take part in Lisa's program.
Yes.
And she had a really, really good story about what Lisa can do for people like Jennifer.
Oh, it's incredible. It is absolutely incredible.
She deserves extra something under the tree.
She's definitely on the nice list.
Okay.
February. I'm already in February. How about December 2nd? Breakfast with Santa at First United Methodist Church of Burleson, 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Kids can come and have breakfast and pictures with Santa, and they've got all kinds of activities planned.
And
it's free.
Okay.
Free. Everybody loves free.
Yeah.
And then the Burleson Farmers Market, December 9th.
Yeah, a lot of people looking forward to that.
Yep, I'll be there from 8 to 1 for pictures.
So you're going to have like a place for people to come, or you're just going to walk around?
There's a place for people to come. We'll have a place set up, and we have a professional photographer there who will be doing 5 pictures for $25.
Do we know this photographer?
I don't think so. Savannah Vasquez.
Okay. No, I don't know. Well, I'm sure she's wonderful.
She is wonderful. Yes. We've worked together many times now. And then our place on the 16th on Saturday.
I could just see Otto button at the front line. No, I want to sit on the lap first, on the knee or whatever.
It is so funny because there are people that'll park at McDonald's and come on over to get their pictures taken with Santa, and he's perfectly fine with it.
Or they'll park at the Lowe's.
Otto just wants to,
Yeah.
Otto just wants everybody to have a good time and a good memory.
Yes, and that's the kind of thing we like about this little town, that you've graced us with these personalized visits. Not all towns are quite as excited about this, I would imagine, but that's...
It has been, I have been so welcomed here in Burleson. It has been amazing. 67 bookings last year.
67?
Yes. With working a 40-hour-a-week job, I had 67 visits with Santa last year.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw you here in town was one of Jessica Valley Ream's fundraisers about 18 months ago. Well, it was around Christmas time, so it'll be about 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
And by the way, she says hello.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yeah,
we keep in touch.
Yeah. Well,
she's another good girl.
Yeah, she got that program for those workouts for the people over Fitability.
Yes.
And I was over there about 3 weeks ago just to visit and do a video clip for her. And it's touching. It really gets to you. And you see people who in this community that do the kind of things they do.
And just encouraging everybody so much. So encouraging and really doing quality work with people.
You like to think the Christmas spirit lives on year round, right?
Absolutely. And that's what it really is. It really is that giving, that loving, that caring. It fits there very well, as to several other places.
Well, now we're going to have a real treat. And this is so, guys, if you're listening out there in the vast listening audience and you're catching this either now or you catch it later at your convenience, you got small children, you got grandchildren, tune into this part because Santa is going to read us the Christmas story. Here we go. Oh. Yeah, he's pretty clever.
I always don't get the intro like that. That's amazing. See the book? Yes. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were all nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters, and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his courses they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner, on Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, when they met with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the courses they flew, with a sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. It doesn't look like a cherry when it's 70 degrees outside, just to mention it. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke had encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of an eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word and went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and then turned with a jerk. And laying his finger aside his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprung to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." I read this at every home visit I do. Mm-hmm. And I just remember one year when I was putting the final touches. Mm-hmm. I put a little sparkle, a little white on the beard to show up in photos. And I pulled out my spray, and I hit it with the spray, and it was a great big black smear.
Oh, my.
I had gotten the wrong color.
Oh, my.
So every kid heard how I had looked down their chimney, and it was dirty, and Dad needed to clean it before I showed up again.
Oh, well, things like that happen.
Things like that happen.
The show must go on.
It does, every time, no matter what.
You must make some personal visits, though, to some pretty tough situations.
I have.
Yes.
I really have.
I can imagine, hospitals and things of that nature.
Yes, and it's all, in those moments, it's just focusing on loving the children no matter what, unconditionally. Right. Showing them unconditional love, and no matter what's going on, not reacting to any of the circumstances or anything that's happening, just to show them love and give them that special moment.
What kind of feeling that must give you, though, to see how excited they are to see you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Through the situations that they're in, through the circumstances that they're in and everything, and that Santa still comes to visit them.
Well,
it has been incredibly rewarding. Yes.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of a couple of situations where, like in the hospitals with sick children, how desperate it must be for someone, because they want to be part of everything. They want to go do things like all the other kids, and have Santa come and see them.
I even had a situation a few years ago that young kids, the mom had passed away just within the last few weeks. And they weren't feeling like Christmas. And somebody bought them a bunch of gifts and had me deliver and do a visit.
Wow.
And I walked out and I fell apart.
No, yeah, right. I don't say
hold it together.
I don't say you cannot. I mean, you got to be moved multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And this is going on all over the world. And, the world's a hard place. Some of these kids really need Santa.
They need Santa. They need to know that love. They need to know that they're being seen and they're being heard. Yes,
and it really doesn't matter the country or the ethnicity or even whatever religious background they have. Everybody needs Santa.
Everybody needs Santa. Everybody needs the love. Everybody needs to know the unconditional love.
I just hope this Christmas, some of the stuff that's going on around the world, which we talked about on the show.
Yeah,
I hope it gets better soon, because that's no way for a child to live.
No, they don't understand. They don't comprehend what all's going on.
Well, you do a lot to make it better.
I try.
You do.
I try.
Jewels in your crown.
Yeah.
So... Well, I'm going to go talk about the rest of them. You got to go run a few errands, apparently. So,
I do.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here. It's just having even the time available is lots and lots of fun.
You've been a good little boy.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right.
I'm going to talk to your friend Steven after this round of commercials.
Sounds good.
Speaking of commercials, such Southern Gym is open right now. They'll be glad to help you with your Christmas gifts and whatnot. On the 30th, which is a week from Thursday, say it right, they're going to have one of their vendors come in, and they're going to have a big, massive discount. And it's going to be really a special occasion. Also, as far as holiday hours, they're open today, they're open tomorrow. They're not, obviously Thursday they're not, Friday they're not. And I asked Kayla about that. She says people look for flat screen TVs more than they do jewels, but they will be open Saturday from 9 to 3, and they will be open every Saturday from 9 to 3, plus an hour later during the week. So be sure to get your Christmas shopping in. It's a really good place to do it. It's got great stuff at all price ranges. Also, Pro Roofing, John Williams, 817-734-2756. He'll check out your roof. Now, see, I'm sure I had Santa tell you about the different roofs, but he's already gone. I just heard the sleigh take off. But anyway, he'll come check your roof out and he'll give you the right story. He won't upsell you or anything. And that's good to have hometown folks doing your inspections and your repairs for you, because they're going to do you right. 817-734-2756. Here are a couple of other Burleson hands from way back. Not that they're old, certainly, but they've been in this town a long time. Sammy Campbell and Candy Gav Camco. This started last month. They are in the mortgage business, and they can help you with your mortgage. They can help you get the best rates. They can help you with whatever else you're looking at in terms of refinancing and all this. So call Sammy, 817-778-4592, and Candy at 817-925-2661. They've done refinancing for me twice in the last 20-something years, so to help pay for college, help pay for repairs, and they held your hand all the way through it. And they're people you want to do business with. Also, somebody we've been doing business with for decades, the Cobb Plumbing Group. The Cobb Plumbers have been here since 1970, and now Matt Cobb has taken over the business, and he'll be here on the 28th, because I want to talk to somebody who's been in Burleson all this time, because he can tell us how it's changed, and also has the reputation of Cobb Plumbing. They've been in our home a couple of times, and if you hear this on the radio, so to speak, or on YouTube, Facebook, Apple, and you mention it to Matt, you'll get 10% off the next service call. So, taking Santa's place, we have Stephen Carl Jansen, well-known Burleson hand here. He's been around for a while. Sometimes you substitute for him, right?
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do. I try to help him out.
Okay. You also been told that you're quite the cook, and we're going to talk about a little of that and this whatnot. And also, how long have you been doing Santa?
I have been doing Santa for 19 years now.
Did you want to do that, or just one day you let your beard grow out and they say, hey, you look like Santa, come on, sit over here?
So I work in healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Worked in healthcare almost 40 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at work. I'm sitting at the desk. We got patients we're taking care of.
Mm-hmm.
One of the nurses was on the phone. She got off the phone. She hung it up and she was mad. I said, what's the matter?
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, I'm having a birthday party for my 3-year-old son. I'm going to have about 20 of the neighborhood kids there. I want to hire a Santa. I can't believe how expensive it is, and they're not available. And I looked at her for a minute. I didn't have my beard at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at her and said, you pay me half of that, I'll go buy a suit and I'll show up and be your Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me for a minute and she said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that year, once people saw that I had the suit and a few pictures, I had 9 parties that year that I ended up attending and going to.
Really?
And photos and whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
And it's just grown. So I had in Illinois, I did Santa for 10 years in Illinois, and I had kids, for 10 years, the same kids, a lot of them, watching them grow up.
That must be nice, though. It really is.
It really was. The 10th year with this one family. So every year the kids are all excited. There's about 10 kids there. The last year that I walked in there, and I come in singing my song, and the kids are all at the dining room table, and they're like, yeah, hi, Santa.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is getting old now. We're done. We know.
Yeah,
I'm like,
too cool for school.
yeah, I'm thinking that's probably the last year I'm going to be here.
Well,
and then 2 years in Maryland, and now this is my 7th season here in Texas.
I don't care how old you are. Everybody likes Santa. They
do.
And I have a lot of memories on Christmas. One of them, a lot of them are around my kids. Now, of course, they're much older, and one of them lives out of state and whatnot. But one of the things we did, there's a famous Santa over at North Park, over in Dallas, and they have that miniature train set. Oh, that whole setup of the miniature trains was wonderful. But we had pictures with Santa. We had it kind of like what you did, up as they grew older.
Yeah.
And as the kids got older, they were good sports about it. I guess the best way to put it. I mean, they still enjoyed it, even though maybe they were a little, we were on to you now, but that kind of thing. But I remember one, like my son, when he's like his 3-year-old picture, he's just screaming in Santa's face. Does that happen to you?
Oh, yeah. And I had a kid, I was at a party, and there's, again, probably 20 to 30 kids there. And I explained to them, after I'd read the story and sung my songs, I said, all right, I've got all these bags of presents. I'm going to pull the present out, read your name. You come up and sit on my knee and tell me what you want for Christmas, and we'll get pictures taken. And one of the older kids in the back says, what if we don't want to come up there and sit on your knee? I said, well, you just have to decide how badly you want a present. You don't get the present if you don't come up here.
You know, I can't even imagine, you know, me or my kids being quite so just snotty. Is the only word I could think of. But because I always enjoyed it, and they enjoyed it too, even when they were, you know, in teenage years, they still played with it. You know, they still they even like one time, you know, they still put the cookies out,
right,
and all of this stuff. One time, Rob and I put the toys out and the stockings, and we went to bed. Next morning, we get up. And, you know, the kid, you know, I think my son was like 15 or 16. My daughter's like 13. They come in and they start going through the stocking, and Hayden brings out these little goofy toys and candy. My daughter brings out a bag of coal.
Oh,
my son had, after we had gone to bed, had gotten into her stock and put the coal in. There's some charcoal or whatever.
Oh.
You know, just things like that. Yeah. And then, you know, so, you know, and I said, well, you know, Santa, you know, probably would like instead of milk or chocolate milk or hot cocoa, probably would like a little whiskey there, you know, with this cookie. But no, Robin said, no, can't do that. So
I can't tell you how many. So I have quite a few parties every year, and I might have 5 visits a night, some nights on Saturdays and Sundays. And everybody's like, oh, stay, can you have it? You want a drink? Have a drink? I'm like, I cannot show up to the next one. With liquor on my breath, as much as I would love it.
It's like that movie Bad Santa, with Billy Bob Thornton.
So some people just give me bottles.
Oh.
And I take the bottle home, and then I've got something to work on for a little while.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Well, that's paying your tab right there.
Absolutely.
You know, but it just is funny because I'm sure it's all for cooking purposes. Of course.
Absolutely.
No, it just
flambés.
Yeah, okay. But you know, I could just imagine you come staggering in. And I mean, I've seen a couple of these movies with Santa where he's not exactly, you know, jolly old self. And there's one they're advertising like R-rated for violence. I mean, what kind of movie with Santa is that? You know,
there are people that I've never been asked to do a bad Santa.
Yeah,
but there are people that are also asked to do bad Santas, and they show up like that, and I'm like,
that's kind of.
I don't know that I could do it.
I know now the reputation you have here in this town is much too good. You don't want to mess with that. You have a sterling reputation in this town.
Thank you.
You know, your whole family does, and so. You know, you wouldn't want to ruin that.
I don't want to play with it. I just don't want to play with it. It's a good thing.
Well, you know, who's asking for a bad Santa? Is this going to be like an adult party? You're not going to have bad Santa come and for your 5-year-old kid,
right?
You know, so
and all you want, you know, you don't want any of these kids to ever see a picture of you as a bad Santa.
Well, and there'll be probably some adults we give you the side eye, like, Stephen, how come? Yeah, no, that's just silly. But
it's funny. A lot of people have phobias about Santa.
Yeah, really.
Oh yeah. And I'll show up to parties and whatnot, and I'll be there, and every child and most of the adults, and then there's some people that stay in the side of the room, the corner of the room. And they're like,
Well, you know, when my son was 4, he woke us up in the middle of the night, and this is actually a couple of days before Christmas Eve, and he was scared because the idea of somebody sneaking in the house through the chimney scared him, and said, "No, it's Santa. Don't worry about it. It's all good." And so. You know, so we had to reassure him that, you know, it was not going to be some burglar or some creep or whatever. So, yeah, I can get it. You know, it's like people are scared of clowns. I know a couple of people that are just clown phobic or whatever it is.
And I think some people see Santa as a clown. Really? I had a friend back in Illinois who hired me. He was running a bar. He said, would you just come in and sing some songs and do some pictures with folks? And I said, sure, I can come do that. So I'm singing songs, and people are, you know, drinking and having their appetizers and whatnot. And but there were some people, when I would approach their table, they would get up and walk away. They did not want Santa coming anywhere near them.
Really? That's just sad.
Yeah. And then one time I was in Chicago, downtown Chicago, for an event, and I had parked and had to walk 3 blocks. Well, in that 3-block walk in winter, in full Santa garb and everything, I'll have kids that'll stop me, and I have to stop.
Right.
That's being a bad Santa. You're just, sorry, kid, I don't have time.
Beat it, kid.
I have to stop. So every one of them, I went down on one knee and gave him a hug and talked to him for a minute. Parents are taking a bunch of pictures and everything. And afterwards, we all went to a restaurant for dinner. And I'm sitting there at dinner in the full Santa garb. Well, a family, there was just a wedding in the family. And they're like, would you come back and take pictures with the bride and the groom? Of course I will. You know, so I went and did that.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun. And there are times where I'm dressed up and I'll just stop in, you know, the grocery store and buy a gallon of milk. And then end up sitting there on the floor in the grocery store with kids gathered around, and I talk to them and do pictures.
But this is a look you have year round. I've seen you in the summer and other times, and you have the white beard. Do people talk about it all the time?
This is about 3 years of growth on this beard. In Illinois and in Maryland, and you're going to laugh, Illinois and Maryland, the humidity is so high most of the year that I got terrible itch. It's down here, it is so dry the vast majority of the time. I don't get the itchy skin underneath my beard, so I just let it grow.
And so people stop you in July and call you Santa, do they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If I wear, I've only got 2 red t-shirts that I own. Because if I wear the red shirt and they see the beard, kids will stare. Kids will stop eating in restaurants and just stare at me.
Yeah. Well, that's funny because, you know,
I just give my.
You're known for you're the Burleson Santa. I mean, there might be one or two others that do a couple, but you're the Burleson Santa at just about most of these events. You're the first call. Yeah. And that tells me a lot about you as much as anything else.
And I'm usually, it's funny, by the beginning of November, and then I have people call me the week before Christmas. Do you have any opening? No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've got people who, 10 years, this date for the next 10 years. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. What about your own sons? I mean, did you be Santa for them?
They have never believed in Santa.
Okay, because they see the behind the curtain kind of thing.
The older one, he's 12 now. When he was 2 years old and first saw me as Santa, he goes, "Hi, Stephen." Never phased him. Never phased him.
Yeah.
So they both grown up seeing me. It's just like, have a nice time, you know. And so I'm always gone on Christmas Eve, so we make the most of Christmas Day. But they also know this is what's paying for all of Christmas, you know.
Well, yeah, that's another part of it. I mean, you do this because you love it and because you're fulfilled by it. But, you know, you have a price schedule. Do you have like a website or something people can access?
Santa Stephen, Texas on Facebook. There's only 2 prices. 30-minute visit's $125. A 1-hour visit is $200.
And if you're booked up 5 times a day, you're banking, buddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But it all depends on, you know, what people want. Some people have larger parties, and they may ask me for 2 hours. So it varies. I was charging $100 an hour, and everybody's like, "This is ridiculous. You are really underselling yourself."
Yeah.
But I didn't want to make it so expensive that people couldn't afford it either.
Right.
So this has been my price for 6 years now.
Yeah. You want to price people out of the market like so many other things have happened over the time.
But I also try to find 2 or 3 nonprofits every year to volunteer my time with.
Well, like I mentioned with Jessica and Fitability, are you doing any nonprofits this year?
You know what? I haven't been asked for any.
Well, I see Jennifer Woods on the Harvest House.
Okay.
On Monday, and I'll say, "Hey, you at the program?"
Yep. Because I'm available days. I could come over there and spend an afternoon.
Yeah. Or I could talk to my friend Megan over at Next Step Women's Center. Yeah. Because they may be interested in something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lot of nonprofits. I had them all on at one time for National Giving Day, and it was touching. You know, I've said this many times, almost to the point of redundancy, but I'm a very blessed person because I sit here and I talk to people like yourself or Jennifer or Megan or Lisa Schwartz, and I get to see all the good that's going on in the community.
Yeah.
And I guess you do too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you get to see the good stuff that goes on. You know, we hear enough, you know, there's always going to be somebody on social media raising hell about something, but 99% of what goes on in this town is pretty good.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have a lot of good people doing a lot of good work selflessly.
Yes. Yeah. And if somebody does they can contact me on Facebook. Stephen Carl Jansen is the easiest way to get hold of me. And if you've got a nonprofit and we can work out the times, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's it's a real blessing, isn't it, to be able to see the good, because, it's really easy to watch the news or get social media or hear these crappy stories and think the world's going to hell in a handbasket. And then I come in and I hear about these people and I talk to these people like yourself that are doing these kind of things and whatnot. But I was asking your I don't know, sponsor, if you will. You must encounter some emotional events sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
Some of this may be a little hard, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I have had kids that have been through a lot, and they come up and they don't even want to talk to me. They just sit on my knee and hold them. They just want to be held. And I'm just like, okay, we're done for the night. This is it. The two of us are just going to be sitting here for the next 2 hours,
Yeah.
They just melt into me. I melt into them. I just hold them and just reassure them,
And also, I'm sure, sick children and children with very unstable home lives and all this other stuff.
Yes.
I don't know if I could hold it together. I'm sure there were times as you were leaving the house, you were pretty clutched.
Oh, yeah. I'll go out and sit in my car, and before I even start the car, I have to sit there and take a few minutes for myself and whatnot, and let the next person know I might be 5 minutes late because I need a moment.
Yeah. Well,
pull the makeup together.
But that really is going to be jewels in your crown, though, because that's a service. What's a good way of putting it? That's a definite Christian service.
That's how I see it. I really do see it that way, because there are people that I've done Santa for, and people are like, "Oh, you probably don't want to go over to their house." Well, okay, that means I probably do.
Yes,
I probably do. Yeah.
Well, this is your calling.
Yeah.
Being a Christian man, you probably feel like this is what God would have you be doing.
Absolutely.
And
because there are a lot of times where, we mentioned this beforehand, during some of the social unrest in the social media.
Yeah.
There are times where I've gotten in there and I'm like, that's not very Christian and it's not very Santa. I need to back off.
Right.
And I have somebody that whispers in my ear and challenges me on that quite regularly.
Yes.
Is that really what you want out there? No, it probably isn't.
No, it isn't. And I've had my spouse tells me the same thing.
Yeah.
Robin tells me, you really, don't you understand? You need to have a reputation you want to maintain. And it isn't necessarily as Mr. Podcast. It's as Brad Allard, you want to keep your reputation.
So if there's something on social media that I really feel like I have to address, I'll address it personally with that person and leave it there.
This is a question that I see you and your husband, Stephen, when they call, say, I need to talk to Stephen. How do you know which one they're talking to?
V or PH.
Okay.
I am V, he is PH.
Okay.
White beard, brown beard, old one, young one. People differentiate.
Well, I mean, I know other couples that have the same first names and or they'll have a junior and senior in the family and that kind of stuff. I always wonder how they get it to get it straight to who's talking to who,
And most of the time when we go out, people assume that we're father and son.
Well, I guess I've seen it all together. I didn't really make that assumption.
Yeah, people will make that assumption if they don't know us.
Yeah.
Or people will be not at our place. Our place knows.
Oh, yeah.
We go to other restaurants and it's like, is this a one checker too? Yeah. Well, that kind of thing.
That does, I hope that didn't offend, though. I mean,
it doesn't. I've gotten over it some.
Okay. Okay.
But I know they're probably trying to be polite in their asking.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And, it's, I'm sure they're trying to be sensitive and all that other stuff most of the time.
Yes.
Well, also, I was going to ask you about your back. I know that you had some back injuries. Has that hindered you in your Santa duties?
So right now I have a 15 to 20 pound restriction on what I can pick up. So I can pick up a little tiny one, or I can hold an infant. I cannot pick up, a second grader and put them up on my knee.
Right. But,
for that kind of thing, I need, somebody to step in and kind of help out with.
So if it's like a second grade year old kid, that's not a way to put it.
If they're in school, they're probably more than 20 pounds.
Oh, absolutely. They're probably about like 60, 70 pounds, maybe a little bigger, maybe a little chubbier. And, but can you have them on your knee?
Yes.
Okay.
So my knees and hips and everything are fine. I will go to a chiropractor every December, January when I'm all done, just to make sure everything's all lined up and where it needs to go. But before the surgery, from January to surgery in August, I was in pain every day.
From this?
from my back. Yeah.
Well, from doing the Santa thing.
No, from just the lower part of my back.
Just from wear and
age
tear.
and pain and wear and tear.
Right.
And ever since the surgery, it's no pain. So I feel like I can go pick up anybody and put them on there myself. But I know better. I don't want another surgery.
You also told us on Facebook about 2 weeks after the surgery, you got rammed in a traffic accident.
I was at a stop sign just outside of Kroger, and light turned green. I took my foot off the brake and put it on the gas, and bang, somebody hit me. And I'm like, really? 2 weeks after my surgery?
Right.
But everything was fine.
So it didn't set you back?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all.
But you're in rehab still, right?
I'm doing rehab still, yeah. I've finished 4 weeks of rehab, and I've got a couple more at least to go. Yeah, so building up those muscles and everything.
Yeah, that's I could relate about the back. I've been telling my vast listening audience last couple of weeks I've been dealing with rib cage issues in kind of the back area, and it's and you don't notice it until you turn and then and then you say a bad word, and then so it's a beating when your back isn't in shape.
I'll tell you, Dr. Gangler at Lone Star Orthopedic was just...
Where is that exactly?
Right next to the hospital, right off of 035 and 1187.
Okay.
Just northeast.
I was thinking of another one, but another one near Old Town. Yeah. But I've been told I should go to a chiropractic service, and we got 2 or 3 here in town. Because as you get older, everything doesn't happen. We were exchanging ages, and we're almost the same
I am older
age.
than you.
About 6 months, yeah. And then, but after you were done with your rehab, you were mentioning about how you're going to pursue some other interests in your life.
One priority is getting the cookbook done. I've got it all written out. I've got the recipes all formatted. I got to cook everything and get nice pictures, and then I can get that published. Also looking at, I'm going to retire in January, and then look for a part-time job, something fun.
Well, we do something
food related.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We were talking a little bit about that. About you talking about maybe cooking lessons and whatnot.
Yeah,
I bet it'd work out. I tell you, you were talking about maybe using Methodist Church and whatnot.
Yeah.
I wonder if HEB would be interested in that, because they have cooking appliances kind of set up in the middle of the. Like in the meat and produce section area, they got the ability to cook. I wonder if and they got their chefs with a little microphone. I wonder if they'd be interested in having you do that for.
That'd be
some
interesting.
Stuff.
I know, not this last year, but the year before, I did demonstrations every other week at the farmers market in Burleson. Chaz was amazing to work with.
Oh, of course he is.
He just gave me all this food and says, "Okay, cook," and I developed recipes and whatnot.
Chaz is another. Contributed to the Burleson community, and we mentioned like our place might, every now and then, but I don't know. I hate to put that on Otto. He's got so much going on right now. He's really got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. But I just wonder if they'd be doing it, or I don't know, maybe if you get a lease space and have your have like your own cooking school.
Yeah,
of course, running an own business is hardly what I'd call like semi-retirement.
Exactly. But at the church. First United Methodist, and hopefully I'll be returning that soon. I was doing cooking classes there once a month. We had a cast iron cooking class, and I would bring in 20 pieces or more of cast iron, and we'd cook in there, and I'd have anywhere from 4 to 10 people cooking along with me, and then we'd serve the meal on Saturday night.
Yeah, you were before the accident, or before surgery rather. You every Saturday night you were making meals. I've seen you advertise on Facebook, and it's kind of like an open invitation. In that particular service is
right.
Maybe for those that may not feel comfortable in a traditional Sunday morning service.
Yeah, it's a very, very contemporary, very relaxed service. During the summers, people come in t-shirts and shorts. It's not church for the real churchy people.
No boy.
But we had dinner at 5:00, service at 6.
I mean, there's a lot of people that want to have some sort of spiritual connection with the Lord and with other Christians, but they feel. Rightly or wrongly, I don't know, probably wrongly, that they wouldn't fit into like an early morning or Sunday morning service that probably you and I grew up with. And so I really appreciate what y'all do. I go to First Baptist, and our focus has been more on the Hispanic population. It's not so much and we also are trying to reach out to the singles who often are unserved, let's say. Yeah. But I'm really glad y'all do that, because there's a lot of Christians out there that maybe feel a bit isolated.
There's also our Wednesday nights. Wednesday nights, we've got all kinds of kids programming up until 5 o'clock. Then we serve meals for the entire family, and then it's more adult, or the youth group meets and adult-oriented Bible study and handbell choir and regular choir and everything meet afterwards. And I helped cook those meals for quite some time too.
But so hopefully you'll be back in that schedule pretty soon. Yeah. Well, that was a big deal. I mean, it really is. And
I'm going to be meeting with Pastor Margaret in January to talk about some options and what might work out.
Now, how long has this particular pastor been there? My cousin is a Methodist minister, and she has been asked to take over a church. Because as we know,
Methodists like to rotate them.
And they move around. She had a church in New Braunfels, and she had a church near San Antonio, and then she worked for the organization itself. And then because, as you well know, there's some discussion going on in the Methodist Church,
right?
And she's been asked to take over a church while they work things out.
Yeah,
things like that.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of folks starting to come to our church because their churches are breaking away. Pastor Margaret has been there for Saturday nights. She took over for Jared.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times, yes.
So he was there. He came in about the same time that we had joined the church. Our family had joined. So he was there for about 3 years, and then she's been there for 3 years now, I think it is. Then Pastor Kyland has been there for a couple of years now. He took over for Danny.
Y'all have them assigned to you, right? At Methodist,
Yes.
we have ours at the Baptist. We're like a view to a call, as we call it, where they come and preach, and if we feel like this is the person for us, and then we'll offer them a job and that kind of thing. So we're somewhat autonomous like that, but this is, it is what it is. But
It is. All churches and denominations, they run things so differently. The church in Illinois that I had attended for like the last 20 years before moving had been the same pastor that entire time.
Well, we had Mike Milburn for many, many years.
Yeah.
Until about 2016, maybe, around 15. And now we have Ronnie Marriott, and he's been there all this time. So we've been fairly stable, and that's a good thing. And, because you need stability. If you know any Baptists, sometimes we ain't the most stable people in the world. But
I've known a few over the years.
a few, yeah. But as far as the cookbook, I'm kind of coming around back on that.
Yeah.
Do you have any kind of due date that you want to have happen? I know you mentioned that it's taken longer than you'd hoped, but
It's taken longer. Well, being put down for 6 months didn't help anything.
Right.
But like I say, right now I basically have to cook and photograph all the recipes. And it's almost 400 recipes. So even if I can do, 10 recipes a week, we're still looking at, the better part of a year to get that done. So hopefully maybe by next Christmas.
it'd be like that movie Julia and Julie.
Julia and Julia, yes.
Yeah. My wife loves that movie.
I watch it regularly.
Well, and I did try a couple of the recipes.
Yeah.
Because we had that book.
Yeah.
The Joy of Cooking.
Yep.
All right. Because somebody
It's
gave
not
it
the
to us.
joy of cooking.
Oh, whatever it is. What is it called then?
Julia Child did the art of French cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
The art of French cooking, does that sound right?
Well, it was
Yeah.
Julia Child's recipe, and I
Yeah.
did beef bourguignon, which is basically fancy stew.
I've
right?
done it. Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
And we need more wine in it,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. But my wife loves that movie, and I was telling you before the show, I like to cook, and what got me interested in cooking was Goodfellas, that movie. And you think, how is that possible? But if you ever watch a Scorsese mob movie, there's always food. Yeah. And I said, man, that looks good.
Yeah.
I want to learn how to do that. So sometimes in the summer, particularly when I have time, I give myself a project.
Yeah.
Either learn about a certain topic I don't know, or learn how to do something. And I got a couple of Italian cookbooks and started going through them.
HBO Cinemax has a show called Julia right now. It's in its second season, all about Julia Child.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember watching those cooking shows. My wife likes them. She likes the Joanna Gaines one on Magnolia Channel.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple of those. So we have cookbooks from some of the TV people, but we're not really, I do most of the cooking. A lot of times I just improvise.
So my cookbook is all recipes from my mom, my dad, all my grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, cousins, aunts, and uncles that I've never heard of before. Might be my grandmother's cousin. So I collect cookbooks, and I've got probably 30 cookbooks that are over 50 years old. I've had to use some of those cookbooks to decipher what my grandmother was talking about because she says, "Oh, use 4 tablespoons of sweet milk," and it's
Right.
like, "What sweet milk?" Well, she
Right.
mixed milk with sugar and red food coloring, and kept that in her refrigerator to add to recipes.
Well, most of the time when I do recipes, it's like a little of that, some of this.
Yeah.
That it's not like a teaspoon or whatever.
Well, and she also, one of my grandmother's recipes for meatloaf said 25 cents worth of ground beef and 25 cents worth of pork.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, so you got this, a little quarter size.
Yeah, that's funny. And that's the one of the great things about cooking is it's something that families can do.
Yeah.
And in our house, I do the grilling and do most of the kitchen work. Robin does the baking.
Yeah.
I don't know how to bake very well because I'm not very disciplined in my proportions or whatever else. But it's a great thing. My mother taught me how to cook somewhat, and I tell you, when I was in college, I got so tired of crap,
Yeah.
either fast food or the dorm food or whatever. When I had my own place, I learned how to cook.
Yeah.
because I got tired of the junk, and I guess that stayed with me all this tired.
My older sister and I had always said that we could go and open my mother's refrigerator, make a complete list, fill our refrigerators with the exact same thing, and not have any idea in the world what to do.
Right.
I now feel like I can go to anybody's refrigerator and find something.
Oh well, and the thing is, it's getting to be kind of sad though how expensive food is getting.
Yeah.
And so we find meals so we can eat more than once. They don't be 2 meals worth instead of just enough for one meal. Well, like I'll make enough for 2 or 2.5, whatever, to stretch out the budget a little bit more. And those are the kind of
I
things
don't cook small. So we end up having leftovers for a few days, or I'll freeze leftovers.
But your boys, are they good eaters?
No.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
They're this big around.
Well, I mean, they like what you make.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so they're not like real picky eaters, I guess
No.
is a better way to put it.
No, well, one doesn't like mushrooms and one doesn't like onions, and it's like, get over it.
Yeah, exactly. How do
That's
you
going
cook
to be in
without
almost
those?
anything.
Yeah, how do you, get over this?
I make sure they're big enough they can pick them out.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
we're getting close on time, so
Okay.
I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the cooking conversations. I've been hoping to have that with you for a while, and also, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of the community for all the things you're doing. I mean, I know that this is a way you help pay bills and all this other business, but you don't have to do it that way. You could do other things, and you bring a lot of joy to a lot of people, and that's a real blessing.
Well, there's somebody that's going to be getting a surprise visit from Santa when I leave here.
Okay.
I just like to show up.
You just like to show up. Here
Yep.
we are.
Here we are. Here's Santa. Anybody want pictures? Yeah.
Now you have pictures coming up Saturday. Is that right?
Yeah. Moretti's Saturday.
Right, and then also, isn't Brooke Mathis doing some photos with you?
But that's private. That's a private event.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, she's got
okay.
everybody booked out. I think, I mean, if people want to give Beautiful Evolutions a call and see if they can fit her in, if she can fit anybody else in there. The last I knew, she might have had 1 or 2 slots open.
Well, I bet she's pretty booked. I mean,
Yeah.
she's well known.
She posted a couple days ago that she had 4 spots open and then somebody took 1. So I don't know if she's filled the other 3 or not. And then in a week, Breakfast with Santa at First United Methodist. A couple weeks later, we're doing our place.
And you mentioned a week from Saturday you're doing the farmers market.
That's not until the 9th.
That's a week from Saturday, isn't it? No, that's 2 weeks from Saturday.
That's 2 weeks from Saturday. It's farmers market.
I'm a little dazed and confused.
And the first time we did farmers market last year, because they changed the date at the last minute, messed us up. But the first time we did we had almost 100 families in 5 hours that we tried to file through there.
This may, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it'd be a really good podcast would be Cooking with Steven or something like that.
Yeah.
Cooking with Santa if you want. And I bet I know somebody that could help you with that, right?
I might know a guy.
Yeah, I know a guy.
Can we get a kitchen in here?
We can bring the studio somewhere.
Yeah.
We'll bring the studio to a kitchen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got a kitchen.
Yeah.
We can
Let's
work
do it.
that out.
Well,
Done.
Consider y'all could work all that, and you could probably get a couple of the restaurants here to sponsor you and stuff
Okay.
like that. And I'm just throwing it out there. I didn't really want to, commit you to anything, but
No, I'd love to have that conversation
okay.
and get something going.
Well, Taylor will sure give you some time, but it'd be a well followed show.
Okay.
Because I just think people would like to be interested in that kind of thing.
Have you ever had grit souffle?
Not that I remember.
Oh my gosh. I announced on Facebook I was going to make it one morning. And Lee says, "Can I stop by and have some?" And I said, "Absolutely. Come on by." And she said, "Seriously?" Yeah.
Yeah.
So she showed up at 6:45 in the morning and had breakfast
brother.
with us.
No problem.
No, I loved it.
No problem. That's Lisa, though, right?
No, it wasn't Lisa.
You said Lisa. Was it Lisa? Who was it that stopped by then?
It was a friend of ours from church who lived in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Somebody else then.
Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like something Lisa Schwartz
No,
could
I
do.
stopped. So I took Lisa some of her popcorn, some of her sweet popcorn, and I turned it into Rice Krispie treats. I substitute that instead of the Rice Krispies. Put the marshmallow all over.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Okay, see, no, well, you're for somebody that eats his own cooking, you're still in pretty decent shape.
I've lost 35 pounds over the last 6 months.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Taylor, thanks
Yes,
for all
sir.
your help. Yeah, I won't see you until Monday.
Nice.
We have Jennifer Woods from Harvest House, and then we have Matt Cobb, and then gosh, my brain isn't working. Who do I have on the 30th? I'm looking forward to hear about Lisa's Thanksgiving. I have Cody O'Brien from the Burleson Buzz.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that one because he'll tell us. We met a couple of times before he got this thing started over at a local restaurant, and hopefully I'll give him some good tips. Who knows?
Maybe Cody wants to swing by Moretti's on Saturday.
He asked me to text him if I had know of stories. This would be a good one. So thank you, Stephen, for everything you've done. I've enjoyed it quite a bit.
I have as well.
And I'll see y'all have a good Thanksgiving. I'll see you all next Monday.